Well, I've also got to get your view on Swiggy, Gaurang. Let me just run our viewers through the news. They're set to exit Rapido. And remember, of course, Swiggy has been running in losses. So this news is actually quite positive for the counter because, they'd forayed into food delivery. The company has now approved the sale of that stake to Prosus and Westbridge Capital for 2,400 crore rupees. Lots of action coming in for Swiggy on the basis of that news. Gaurang, how do you think the markets will read into this in terms of course, the cash infusion, but on the other hand, wondering perhaps strategically what this means?
A small disclosure, Abha, because we are talking stock specific. All recommendations that I'm going to give you on this show are a part of our research team recommendation. Our company, Geojit or I, we do not have any personal investment, no financial interest, no conflict of interest, but we give recommendations to our clients on similar lines. They might have their investment interest. So, if I have to compare between Swiggy and Eternal, which was known as Zomato earlier, Eternal has been on an all-time high, lifetime high, if I'm not mistaken. And somewhere Swiggy has been struggling in terms of performance. And it's somewhere close to its IPO price. I believe it was 385 or 400. The problem for Swiggy is in terms of earnings visibility and the kind of pressure that is there on the bottom line. This stake sale of Rapido may be a short-term trigger, Abha, because it's not going to materially change the earnings of the company. How are the proceeds going to be utilized? I think that's going to be very prudent and important. I guess the management will possibly throw some light over there after some time. But we do not have coverage on Swiggy, so it's not a recommendation. But Eternal, that is Zomato, we continue to have a positive coverage.
Let me also go across to Krishna now. He's joining us on the Swiggy news. Krishna, good morning. From a stock market POV, we were just talking about how perhaps, it's still a little unclear to us how they're going to allocate those funds and what it'll mean for Swiggy strategically. Run us through, what you're hearing in terms of the outlook on Swiggy going ahead post this deal.
Hi, Abha. Okay, for starters, this is really a result of conflict of interest because Rapido, purely from being a ride-hailing service, is now moving into food delivery, space that's been occupied by Swiggy and its arch rival Zomato for a while now. The way I look at it, Swiggy put in about 1,000 crores in 2022. They're exiting at about a 2.3x return, which is great. It also brings cash back into the stable of Swiggy, I think, which is more than welcome. Also, it opens up the whole business for Rapido in the sense the moment they're able to map it in terms of from being a ride-hailing service, they understand the consumer very well, at least that part of the consumer business. It allows them to get into an allied business like food delivery. So I think from a strategic sense, it's great. It also gives the investors, namely Prosus and Westbridge, a chance to hike their stake in Rapido, something they've been looking at. There's still been no real talk of Rapido looking to go public. But to my mind, this could very well lay a foundation for that particular development at some point in time. But I think overall, it's a good development, brings in money for Swiggy more than anything else, and to, I think, drive home the point that the conflict of interest is an area that needs to be defined very, very clearly.
But do you really think there's space for a third player, Krishna? That's the big question.
I really think so, Abha, because the market is still very large in India. We have a large part of India which is still really coming up in that sense. The availability of data at a low cost obviously opens up the market completely. And the fact that we have a heterogeneous cuisine across an audience that's really large, I think really sets it up. So even if you look at larger markets, though it's a duopoly, food habits are pretty much uniform as opposed to India. So I think it's still an underpenetrated market as we speak.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.